Hi everyone, and welcome to our YouTube channel, where as always, your hosts
Arne and Carlos.
And today we've got a little tutorial. It's actually a wrist warmer with lace pattern, and we're calling this a lace for new beginners tutorial, because if you learn how to knit this, if you've never done it before, and you learn how to do this little wrist warmer, you can then graduate to larger projects.
This is easy. It's
super easy.
Kind of a basic, old basic lace pattern.
And this is what it looks like when it's done.
This one is knitted on the needle number 3, and we had this as a project when we went on our garden tour to Italy. And we saw like different people have different tensions. So for some people, making this on needle number 3, it can be too tight.
Yeah.
So it's always good to check your tension and see if you have to go up on the needle.
Yeah,
and
so do a swatch for gauge.
Yeah. And we used the Norwegian wool from Rowan, our yarn, and this yarn can actually, you can use the needle up to needle 4 and it will still look good. And what you need to know when you do this pattern is just the basics. And I can show you some of the basic stuff. It's the knit is like always easy. And sometimes there's a yarn over and slip. That is, you do that in one operation when you knit this style. And then you knit and you lift over. So that is very easy. And when we slip a stitch...
is that the PSSO?
That is SL1.
So K2 is...
K1 PSSO.
Yeah, so K1 and then yarn over is YO.
Yeah, yo.
And then slip 1 is SL1.
Yeah.
And then PSSO. That
pass, slip, stitch over.
Pass, slip, stitch over. Yeah, that's what I asked you, if it was a PSSO.
Yeah, and it is.
And it is, yeah.
So when you see on the pattern, it goes in like this and in like this to make those triangles going up like this. So on the right side, it's always yarn over, slip 1, knit and lift and pass, slip, stitch over. On the other side, it's knit 2 together, because then they go towards the center. On the top of each of these triangles or rhomps or whatever you call them, you have yarn over, slip 1, so that is like this, and knit 2 together. So then you knit 2 together like this, and then pass, slip, stitch over. And then a new yarn over. And the rest is very basic. There is one thing you have to remember, because the reports is actually in between those stars, the repetition on the pattern. The report is actually what you do on each needle.
The repeat.
The repeat. If you choose to make this on a circular, you need to have some stitch markers or something, but we prefer to use 5 needles.
Because then we always know
4.
where we are, yeah. Exactly. So each round is only written once, but it's done 4 times.
It's done 4 times. You repeat it around, which means that you repeat it 4 times.
So circular needle, you definitely need a stitch marker so that you know where you are, definitely.
And there's one other thing you have to remember, which can be very quick to forget it if you're not observant, and then you will lose a stitch. And that is, on two of the reports, you have yarn over, and then you knit on the next needle. So if you look at this, that yarn over, it is really easy to miss. So you have to check that the yarn over is actually on the needle before you start knitting the next needle. And that is that is 2 rounds where you have to be aware of this, so you don't lose it. Because there should always be 10 stitches on the needle. And from there, it's just peanuts.
Yeah.
So this is it's very easy. All you need to know is to knit and slip and knit and lift over and 2 together.
Yeah, so Because we're doing this for new beginners, should we demonstrate all the different stitches one more time?
Yeah.
So a knit stitch is a knit stitch, so you all should know that.
A knit stitch is always that.
And then you have the yarn over.
That is this.
You put the yarn over.
But if you knit Norwegian style, yarn over and slip one stitch is one operation. Because you go like that.
Yeah.
It's done in one operation.
And if you're not Norwegian, so
then it's another story.
So you do the yarn.
If it, some people have the yarn on this side, and if you do a yarn over, I guess you have to move the yarn to the front to make a yarn over or something. I can't do it.
So they do the yarn over, okay? So you move the yarn to the front.
Yeah, it's a yarn over.
Yeah.
No matter how you do it.
You move it to the front.
But we do it this way.
And then you slip it like that.
Yeah. And then knit one. And
then
pass, PSSO means pass slip stitch over.
Over the one that you just knitted.
So you go in and lift it over
and put it down like that, yeah. And then you've got the knit two together.
That is, you go in front of these two and knit them together like that.
And these are all the stitches you need in order to do this pattern.
And there's the one with the yarn over, slip one, knit two together, and pass slip stitch over.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the rest is these stitches. It's easy. And when I can show you one more thing. When we slip a stitch, you say you yarn over and you slip, you will always go in from the back when you slip a stitch. We never do this and slip that way. We never slip as we knit, because the slip stitch is actually a stitch that is not knitted, it's just moved from one needle to the other. So for us it's more logic to go in from that and put it over, because then you see you don't change the stitch at all. If you slip the stitch as you knit it, you're changing direction of the stitch. So normally a slip stitch is always slipped in from the back like that. But maybe people do it different in other countries, but this is how we do it. And this is now messed up. And there's another thing also with this one. We didn't change needle for the rib. We used the same needle on the rib as on the lace.
And it worked out.
Because it's lace. So and you see it works. And when you bind off, when you finish your wrist warmer, be careful to not make it too tight. So you have to bind off loosely.
Yeah.
And the last thing is that we don't steam or block or anything.
There's
with this
no
pattern,
reason.
Because we like to have that feeling.
Of a little bit of a 3D kind of.
It goes up like this. And if you block it or steam it, you kind of destroy
that feel,
effect.
Yeah.
And when you use it, it will lose a little bit of those what you call it, like points.
Yeah.
So.
But wool, if you're using a 100% wool, it will keep its shape quite well.
And if you wash it, it goes back again. So, but I think it's really nice to keep the lace this way.
Yeah.
If you want it longer, you can always add one extra round. There's enough yarn for that. If you want to do like a finger, put in a hole for your finger or stuff, I think that's also possible with this yarn. But remember, make a swatch and see if it's big enough for you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So
and that's it. You can get the pattern.
This is very basic.
Yes, and the pattern, you can get that at arnecarlos.com. So go to our website if you want to start practicing your lace knitting. This is a great project to do it. You can get the pattern there, and then you get your yarn, and all you need to do is start knitting, and hopefully you will graduate from this onto more complex projects with lace.
This is easy. You can easily make a sweater with this lace.
But it's good to practice on the wrist warmer. And again, if you don't want to use double-pointed needles, a circular needle is just fine. Make sure you get a small one, though, not a very long one. So we hope you've liked this episode. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up and become a subscriber, because it's a fun channel to subscribe to. Once you are a subscriber, you can hit that notifications
And
button.
you won't miss an episode.
And you'll never miss anything. And be sure to put yourself on our mailing list. You can do that by going to arnecarlos.com. That is also where you can get all our patterns. So thank you so much for watching, and we will be back with a new tutorial soon. So bye.
See you.